Christopher, I just have a number of questions that would interest me to get your answer to. I fully acknowledge, and so did Dinesh D'Souza at the very outset, that every thinking believer has doubts. Do you ever doubt your atheism?
Well, the practice, the atheist, secularist, materialist practice is based on doubt.
No, you're not answering my question. Do you ever doubt atheism? I sometimes doubt God's existence. Do you ever doubt God's non-existence?
No.
Okay. That is exactly a perfect example.
I mean, I try.
It is a perfect...
I try, but I can't succeed.
All right.
I do my best. I mean,
well, you don't try hard enough.
I give it a try, but,
okay.
It's not possible to...
I know. Well, that is... Look, I appreciate your honesty because...
I think I'm here myself because of the laws of biology
okay.
and not because of a divine plan. I just haven't got the arrogance to claim that I'm here because God has a plan for me.
On the contrary, you have much more arrogance because of your certitude is greater than ours. We have self-doubt. You do not. You heard that,
no,
ladies and gentlemen.
That is
you
a fact.
You
did not make me concede any such thing. You're so
no,
glib.
you said you...
You're so glib you squeak.
I'm sorry. I asked you, do you ever doubt...
Anything of the sort.
All right.
I said I try,
yes,
but I can't.
Right.
I can't.
So I don't care whether you try or not. The fact is that you never doubt your atheism. We doubt our religiosity.
I cannot come up with...
There is a far more inquiring mind among the thoughtful religious than among, and I will include you, the thoughtful atheists. You are far more dogmatic than we are.
I can't find any merit in, since you're asking me again, I can find no merit in any theistic explanation of my presence here or yours.
Yes, that's a separate question.
I have tried.
Whether you I understand. Whether you find merit or not.
I owe you my best reply.
Okay, so we answered that question. We acknowledge doubts. You acknowledge no doubts. Fine,
no,
fair enough. Next question.
No, that's not what I said.
That is what you said. It's on tape and video.
It is not what I said.
It is what you said.
No,
you said you try, but you fail.
No, you're being
said
boring
it 4
as well
times,
as
in
glib.
fact.
You're being boring as well as glib and dishonest too.
Well, all right. Look, people, you will all purchase the CD, and you will. Okay. You said you don't doubt your atheism. All right, we'll leave that point. If you said you did, well, the audience will judge. Next,
a statement that something is doubtless is not a statement of dogma. Okay, I don't doubt the rotundity of the globe.
It's a dogmatic.
I don't
outlook.
doubt it.
Right. Okay. We acknowledge more intellectual doubts. It's all I wanted to say because there is an all-pervasive outlook today that it is the atheist who is the open-minded and it is the religious believer who is the closed-minded, and you just heard an example, in my opinion, if you reject it, you reject it, but in my opinion, of a greater open-mindedness to self-doubt and self-inquiry among most religious people than among the atheists.
I don't doubt the theory of natural selection either.
Okay, fine.
I don't doubt it.
That's all right. Fine, I understand. I don't doubt that the sun rises in the east. So you
Very
have
good.
the same
now,
certitude about
finally.
that. No. Now we're finally nothing.
Thinking.
Okay. Now, you asked about can we come up with any good actions that were done because of religion that wouldn't be done by secularists, and you cannot. One cannot, and if one did, you would give them a prize to be announced later. I will ask for that prize in a moment. And you said, on the other hand, there are evil actions that can only be fostered by religion. I mean, that's beneath you. It's not intellectual. There are evils that have been committed that are horrific by both secularists. I don't know if Gulag came up and the communists came up and Kim Jong-il and Kim Il-sung in North Korea, who were avowed atheists, came up with less barbaric evils than any medievalist in religion. So this notion that the greatest evils or unique evils come out of religion is just historically inaccurate. I mean, there is despicable, sadistic cruelty everywhere. That's the human condition, unfortunately. Now, I will give you evidence, however, where religion has produced more good than its alternative. And I asked this of two secular professors, Pearl and Sam Oliner, O-L-I-N-E-R, teachers at Humboldt State, California State at Humboldt. And they wrote a book on altruism. There are not many books on altruism. There are 10 billion books on evil, almost none on altruism, which is too bad. And I asked them, they specifically studied rescuers of Jews during the Holocaust. And I said this, and I have it on tape. You have devoted your lives to studying altruism. You are secular.
Mr. Prager, this would be a time to continue with the questioning of
Okay,
1 minute.
so this is my final statement to Christopher Hitchens. You are secular. If you could, knowing everything you know now, you are a Jew in the Holocaust, and you can knock on the door of a secular doctor. No, I didn't even say secular. A doctor, a lawyer, or a priest or a nun behind the third door. Which would you knock on in the hope that they would risk their lives to save you? And they said, without question, the priest or nun.
Thank you.
Now to Dinesh. All right, now, the problem with Dinesh is so far we agree on everything. And this is a very serious problem in a debate. You might want your money back, except for two things. One, you paid nothing, and second, that there is always Christopher Hitchens here. So
I would suggest, why don't we move along then?
That solves the problem of disagreement.
Dennis, why don't we move along then, and we'll have Dinesh take on rebuttal.
Well, I did want to still, nevertheless, I did want to ask you something.
I didn't feel myself being cross-examined in that last rant, I've got to say.
Yes, so I do want to ask one thing of Dinesh, though. I'll be very...
You do want to do a Pentateuch New Testament kind of conversation?
How about if we give Christopher just a minute to respond,
Let's
and
do
then
that,
and then Dennis can ask me a question,
and then
we'll
I
move
think
on.
after this one we'll sort of be more throw it open.
Well, you only have to read Primo Levi. At least he'd be the one I think I would probably suggest first, to find out that there's nothing hypothetical about the question that was just asked to me. We know, because so many Jewish people did have to wonder who they could turn to in that moment. And we know exactly what happened when they turned. Oh, well, that's great. So what, the microphone doesn't work either now? There's nothing hypothetical about the last question I was asked when it finally came to a question, because it was the fate of many Jewish people in Europe to have to wonder to whom they could turn in their time of extremity. And I'll tell you the place they didn't turn, which was to the churches that had made the official concordat with Adolf Hitler and Benito Mussolini. The churches that had told their parties to vote for him in the Reichstag. The church that had told, especially the Catholic Church, that had told its bishops to celebrate Adolf Hitler's birthday every year from the pulpit, which they did till April 1945, which had preached the anti-Semitism on which the Nazi Party based itself, which in many cases violated the seal of the confessional to turn over resistors, and in all cases turned over the birth records of the parishes of Bavaria and the rest of Germany, so that the Nuremberg laws could be enforced and everyone with even a particle of Jewish blood could be identified, set aside for deportation and persecution. Anyone who doesn't know this doesn't know anything about it. Not only that, not one person was excommunicated or threatened with excommunication by the church for taking part in the final solution. Paul Johnson, a Roman Catholic historian, estimates that 40 to 50% of the Waffen-SS were communicating Roman Catholics. Not one of them was ever threatened with the smallest punishment for what they did or were doing.
Thank you.
No, don't let's give up. It doesn't mean that there's no relationship between Christianity and morality in this dark hour. Joseph Goebbels was expelled, was excommunicated from the Roman Catholic Church. He was. Why? Do you know why? For marrying a Protestant. Magda Goebbels was a Protestant and a divorcee. Joseph Goebbels had the sacraments withdrawn from him. That's the only case I know of a Nazi being threatened with discipline by the Roman Catholic Church. To dare to ask me that question in that tone of voice in this audience, I think shows something really like moral irresponsibility. But that's my reply, and that's the short version. Okay? Try me on this again, and on the relationship between faith and totalitarianism, and I have a lot more for you. Okay? So just keep trying. Too soon to tell.
So just let me repeat the name of your book, because I know you'll like that, and of course gives me a thrill up my spine. God is Not Great, How Religion Poisons Everything. I've been saying that on television for 15 years. I have a documentary movie coming out about it at the end of the year. But in this country, when you say things like that, in a lot of places, people just gasp. Why is America so far behind Europe, for example, on this issue?
Oh, I don't think it's true. I think people just lie to the opinion polls. Try it. Stand in the center of any American town or city, north or south, on Sunday morning, see if the place is 80% empty. It's not. There isn't enough room in the churches anyway. People are mowing the lawn and having a martini, and if they're lucky, sexual congress with the spouse. Or if it's a really good Sunday, all three. They tell the pollsters they believe in Satan more than they believe in Darwin's theory of evolution, but they don't know anything about either. And when they go to the hospital, they act as if they think Darwin is probably more likely to be right. So I think it's hugely exaggerated. Everywhere I go, I find that everyone who comes to the meeting thinks they're the only other atheist, and they're amazed to find that everyone else is one too.
Yeah, I find the same thing.
Whereas if I was in Europe, my country of birth, in England, the Queen is the head of the church as well as head of the state. You have to pay for both. And when she dies, her slobbering, weak-chinned Dauphin of a son will be the head of the Church of England. And he wants to convert to Islam in the meantime. And this is what you get when you found a church on the family values of Henry VIII. And in Germany, you have to pay a tithe to a church, whether you want to or not. We are very lucky in this country. We have a better tradition. We have Jefferson, we have Thomas Paine, we have the First Amendment, we have the Virginia Statute on Religious Freedom. We're the only country in the world that says the state can't back religion. We should appreciate it more.
Okay. I consider myself